can't see you, but I can hear you.
What's wrong with it?
Yeah, I'm here.
Trying to get the live stream started.
Evening, Wayne.
It's going to be just 1 minute.
Hello, everybody.
Difficulties.
Hey.
Y'all just bear with IT. They've got a little bit of a hitch here, getting the live stream going, but it should be going momentarily.
Okay.
Everything's good.
So has everybody been in there? I'll be calling them away.
Yeah,
Hey, just admit everybody and then we're going to start. We'll start the stream.
the stream's already started.
Thank you, Mason.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we're ready.
Okay, it's good to see everybody and their faces and everything. Let's call our meeting to order. Glad everybody is here. Hope you're staying healthy. Norris, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Happy to do so. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
One nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all.
Thank you. If we could observe a moment of silence, both for what's going on in the world, in our United States, and right here in our beloved Madison County. Amen. Gentlemen, we have an agenda in front of us. You've had a chance to look it over. Thanks to Amanda, everything has been in our hands. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as it reads?
Mr. Chairman.
Gentlemen, I requested briefly yesterday if I could have just a couple of moments to review the update information from the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. If we need to amend the agenda to include that, or what do we think would be appropriate? If just 2 or 3 minutes of some important updates from the state association.
Where would you like to put that on the agenda, Norris?
Anywhere toward the end would be great.
Let's do it before we have to go into closed session.
All right, I'm good. Wherever you guys want to put it, I'm fine.
8. Move it to 8.
Okay.
Move Norris to 8 and then move the asphalt to 9. Okay. That's fine.
Mr. Chairman, on item number 4, I would respectfully ask if it's appropriate to present item number 4 instead of Billy Clark making that presentation.
I have no problem with that, and I move that the agenda be approved as amended.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay. I think I heard all ayes. Did I hear? Okay. All right. Mr. County Manager, I couldn't understand what you said on item 4 about Billy Clark.
Just for clarification, Mr. Chairman, I requested to present that instead of Billy Clark making that presentation.
Okay, thank you, sir. I heard it that time. Sorry. Okay. Okay, we have an approved agenda. We now have minutes in front of us. March the 10th special, March the 10th regular, March the 16th emergency, March the 17th emergency minutes. Having stated what we have in front of us, is there a motion to approve or to make amendments?
Mr. Chairman, if no one has any amendments, I move that we approve them as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? I'm sorry, discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. All right. Brings us down to public comment. Mr. Pulliam, do we have anybody for public comment, sir?
Mr. Chairman, we have several people who have submitted public comments, and I'm going to ask the clerk, if she would, to name the name and read the comments.
Okay.
Good afternoon, board members.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
comment is from Cindy Harmon. Sorry, technical difficulties. Hold one moment.
I can hear everybody. Can you hear me, Matt?
Yes,
Craig?
Wayne.
I apologize.
Yes, we can, Wayne, and we can see
Cindy
you.
Harmon, why has Roy Cooper
Okay.
overreacted and forced more restrictions on the citizens of North Carolina? And why has County Commissioner Craig Goforth followed along like a lost child? Why are the county commissioners and Governor Cooper doing everything they can to make the citizens of this state more miserable than they already are? It appears these draconian lockdown measures are more political than necessary. Cooper and his State Board of Elections, Karen Brinson Bell, are even floating an idea of forcing our elections to be all mail-in ballots this November. This is a George Soros initiative being floated throughout the county in order to help Democrats cheat in our November elections. Judicial Watch filed a lawsuit April 9th, 2020 against North Carolina and 2 of its counties for failing to clean their voter rolls. According to Judicial Watch's analysis of voter registration data, many of North Carolina's 100 counties have large numbers of ineligible voters on their rolls. Judicial Watch also alleges that the state's own data shows that North Carolina has nearly 1 million inactive voters on its rolls. You commissioners and Roy Cooper may think you are justified in these actions. Still, numerous lawsuits have recently been filed in this state claiming individuals and businesses' liberties are restricted. Attorney General Barr expressed concern this week, stating, "I am very concerned about the slippery slope in terms of continuing encroachments on personal liberty. The medical community model data does not fit the exaggerated actions implemented by this state and the Madison County Commissioners. These actions and responses are destroying lives. Using this woo flu to profit your agendas is despicable and won't be forgotten." Cindy Harmon, Spring Creek. Christopher Henderson. Dear Madison County Government, this letter is written regarding drive-in church. I would ask that you please allow drive-in church. Why is it that Ingles, restaurants, etc., parking lots can be full and it's fine, but parking at church isn't allowed? It is also allowed to go through a drive-through at a restaurant where you are 1 foot from someone giving you food, yet we can't park at our church with our windows up. We put the only county in NC that can't, even our governor said we could. Does the Constitution and freedom of religion not exist anymore? I would ask that you please do the right thing and allow drive-in church.
Is anybody keeping time on these that you're reading, Mandy?
Gospel Music GM. Dear Madison County Government, please allow drive-in church. Our governor in 99 out of 100 counties in North Carolina says it's okay, yet our county won't allow it. If we don't draw close to God through this, our county will be in even worse shape, and infringing on our constitutional rights to meet is not good. Please reconsider. James Hollifield. How is it legal to restrict or suspend our First Amendment rights of the free exercise of religion and assembly? What provision in the U.S. Constitution gives anyone that ability? Secondly, why has it been restrictive here? We have no cases. We're following the CDC guidelines and social distancing requirements. Not even the biggest, most populated city in the state has gone to the extremes Madison has. Charlotte-Mecklenburg is still allowing drive-in church. Seems to me that parking in Ingles parking lot and using Ingles restrooms is far riskier than drive-in services at a church. I'm wondering if our government is just testing the church folk to see how we will put up with. To be presented at the Madison County Commissioners meeting, James Hollifield. P.S. I am in high-risk category and I'm perfectly comfortable going to church. Absolutely no worries about this virus whatsoever. Jesus said to his disciples, "Fear not." Since I know him, I am not afraid if I do catch it. Christian Troll. Dear County Commissioner, I have some questions about why you close down churches, but you do not close down bars. Why are you letting people get their booze, but not letting us Christians hear the man of God preach? I hope you know you're going against the First Amendment. I am 15 years old and I'm also a preacher. I love church because the pastor will preach a message that will encourage me to keep me serving God throughout the week. Not all of our church members have internet access. Many may not even have cell signal in their respective areas. The lack of these services combined with the county order effectively stops some of our members from being able to take part in any worship services. I'm praying for you and have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Mark B. 1421. I ask that you please reconsider the denial of drive-in church in Madison County. I think Madison County is one of, if not the only county in NC that has not allowed to have drive-in church. It's perfectly fine to go to Walmart and walk around with hundreds of people, but it's not okay for me to go to my church parking lot, sit in my car with my family, windows up, and listen to my pastor preach on the radio. There's something very wrong with that. Again, please reconsider the denial of drive-in church in Madison County. Thank you. Connie Banks. I ask that you please reconsider the denial of drive-in church in Madison County. I think Madison County is one of, if not the only county in NC that's not allowed to have drive-in church. It's perfectly fine to go to Walmart and walk around with hundreds of people, but it's not okay for me to go to my church parking lot, sit with my family, windows up, and listen to my pastor preach on the radio. There's something very wrong with that. Again, please reconsider the denial of drive-in church in Madison County. Thank you. Bruce Diltz. Dear sirs of the Madison County Commission, as a Christian family living in Madison County, we request your attention to the restriction of drive-in churches. And as much as we would love to be able to assemble in our house of worship, we recognize the health risks and will abide by the ruling to not assemble in a closed setting. However, to address this in a common sense way, cars parked in a parking lot does not pose as high a risk as getting into an essential store such as Dollar General or Ingles. I am unsure as to why Madison County has continued this ban on churches when other surrounding counties has lifted theirs. We are law-abiding citizens and feel as though this is becoming an affront based on a religious bias. We are asking that you reconsider your continual decision in restricting our constitutional right to freedom of assembly. This is a very important part of our heritage. We understand the pressure on the government at the moment, but ask that you use common sense in this decision of drive-in church. We absolutely cannot pass germs sitting in our cars listening to the man of God preach. As government officials, you have an obligation to all people of Madison County. That includes Christian families following the law enforced upon them against our will. Please discontinue this ban on drive-in church. Thank you for your time. The Diltz family, Madison County, North Carolina. Vicki Hollifield. County Commissioners, I wanted to voice my opinion during this meeting on your decision to restrict this county to live stream only services during this COVID-19 virus. I used to take pride in being able to say that I'm from Madison County, a conservative county who wouldn't infringe on people's right like other surrounding counties might. I can no longer take pride in being from Madison County currently because you all have chosen to infringe not only on the First Amendment guarantees provided by the U.S. Constitution, but also on the Article 1, Section 13 Amendment grantees provided by the North Carolina Constitution. I would have never imagined I would see the day when our sweet country county would go against everything we fought for when we left Great Britain. Our ancestors fought to include the Bill of Rights for just this reason. They knew government could use a crisis to take the freedom of people. That is why this has been so disheartening. We have watched the bars remain open for curbside service, raising the risks of DUIs while telling Christians they can't have drive-in services when that is not putting anyone at risk. I would advise you to trust your local pastors to take care of their flock, and know that if they feel that it's too risky to do drive-in service, then they won't do it. God has put them in place to care for their members for a reason, so trust them. Please stop living in fear of what might happen and trust that God is fully in control of all of this. Sincerely, Vicki Hollifield. Those are all of the public comments that we have, which have been submitted for the board's review.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you very much for that. We know that our amended order has taken care of that particular issue, members of the commission. This ends public comment. We now go to item 4 on Billy Clark, Robertson, Stevens. I'm going to pass it over to our county manager, Mr. Pulliam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the commission. What I have here in front of you is a economic development incentive agreement between the County of Madison and Asheville Kombucha Mamas LLC. Was there still a bleed over?
Not from me.
So anyway, this agreement, there is a bleed. Where it's coming from. Can y'all hear me now?
I hear you.
Yes, we're good.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead. The county is interested in economic welfare of its citizens and the creation and maintenance of sustainable jobs for citizens in strategically important industries, and therefore wishes to provide the necessary conditions to stimulate investment in the local economy and promote business, resulting in the creation of substantial investment in the county, and to encourage economic growth and development opportunities in which the county has determined will be made possible pursuant to this project. And in this project, the company has met all of the incentive agreements that they've invested over $2 million at the site. They've created a number of jobs, I think 28 jobs as part of this incentive agreement. And what we're doing here is executing an agreement that was inadvertently left off or not executed several years ago. By doing this, the county will be able to submit the paperwork to the Department of Commerce and receive the funds that $50,000 on behalf of Asheville Kombucha Mamas LLC, which would then be forwarded on to them as part of an incentive. So we need a motion, I guess, if you will, move this agreement forward. Get it signed.
Who was it with? What was
It's
the name?
kombucha. It's
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's Bucci, Bucci
Yeah.
tea, and it's their official name is Kombucha Mamas.
I love it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I've got one question on section 7, paragraph D.
Okay.
Is that figure, the figure that's in that section 7, paragraph D, is that correct? Because it doesn't seem to match the other numbers. Everywhere is indicated that it's a 2 million ballpark figure, and then this figure is maybe just a typo.
I'll have to double check that, but I can get that double checked and make sure that that number is correct before we execute this.
As long as we're sure that that number is correct and that doesn't change anything with the rest of the agreement, I make a motion that we approve the agreement based on that clarification.
Thank you,
And I will
Mr.
second
Matt, I
that.
can, Matt,
Donnie, go ahead.
I don't know what happened to him. Do you?
Don't either. I'm showing him muted. Donnie, if you can hear us, you'll need to unmute. There you
Yeah.
go.
He's unmuted.
Can anybody hear him?
I
No.
can't. I heard the first few words.
Yeah, and he's showing unmuted.
Donnie, is your microphone on, Donnie?
Can't hear.
This agreement has been looked at before. And I think that with Commissioner Wechtel's motion there, do we have a second?
Yes, I will second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor where you say aye?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item is item number 5, which is Tammy Cody, our health director. Tammy, are you with us?
I don't see her on here, do you?
Tammy, are you with us? What she has for us is just as a simple a health assessment, part of a recreation process, but I cannot speak anything further to that. Commissioner Wechtel, do you have anything further on that, sir?
I don't, but I'm texting Tammy right now to see if she's got a technical problem or something.
Okay. Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I know you're on that board, sir.
I am, but we've not had a meeting since this came up
Okay.
yet.
Matt, I just checked my messages. I don't have a message either.
Hello, can you hear me?
There she
There
is.
she
Hey,
is.
there we are.
Hey, the guys had to unmute me. I was here, but we were having some difficulty with the technology, so I do apologize. So yes, before you tonight, you have our, we call it the SOTCH, but it's our State of the County Health Report. And we provide this to you every year except for the year that we do our full health assessment. And so we have our health priorities, which are physical activity and nutrition, as well as substance use and mental health. And those came out of our full health assessment. So the actions that we're taking to address these priorities, we have our Walk with Ease program. We have our Cooking Matters program. Those address the physical activity and nutrition. And then for substance use and mental health, we provide triple P services as well as medication-assisted treatment options in our community. So far, we have collected our BMIs on the students in K through 8. We've coordinated resources and wellness fairs. We've conducted diabetes education classes. We are providing fresh fruits and vegetables in the community twice a month through the YMCA Healthy Living Mobile Market. We are also we did an overdose awareness event and recovery rally last fall. We do Red Ribbon Weeks and provide substance use education in all of our schools. We support medication take-back events throughout the county, and we're providing Narcan training to local businesses. So that's where we are in looking at the priorities and opportunities to address them within our county. I'm sorry, but with the technology, we have a really cool video I wish I could show you tonight, but I'm not going to be able to. I will, however, ask our IT department to post it on the county website. It's a nice little video. Are there any questions related to our SOTCH this year? Okay, hearing none, thank you for your time. The SOTCH can be found on the county website under the Health Department tab. And if any of you would like additional information about the SOTCH, please let me know. I'd like to acknowledge the hard work that Dina Stevens and Jody Brazel put into making this for our community.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Okay, moving us along. Our next item is number 6, which is Carrie Ledford, our interim finance officer. Carrie, are you with us?
I am. Can
Good
you hear me?
evening. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, I hear
Good
I
you.
hope
evening.
you all are well.
Hello. Carrie.
Hello.
I hope
Yes.
you are too.
Gentlemen, before you have budget amendment number 9. First and foremost, note that we are moving funds from our contingency to cover costs of the expenses due to the COVID-19. In the first week alone, we incurred over $9,000 worth of these expenses. And of course, we're hopeful to recoup these costs with the applications that we are making to FEMA. We received additional unbudgeted revenue from an hold harmless tax distribution, so that helps offset the expenses for the COVID-19 at this time. Although it does decrease the contingency by $24,950 with the additional revenue, and so we're allocating $50,000 to the COVID-19 at this time. Also of note is the increase in inspections department budget, where we are decreasing some lap salaries and adding to the contract services line to cover the contract for the Land of Sky, with the Land of Sky for the zoning enforcement, and also with our GIS mapper. Also of note, you'll see that the health department has secured a grant with the Dogwood Health Trust in the amount of $24,598 for the dental center. This amendment decreased the amount of funds in our contingency account, which is now at $148,635.
Carrie, do we have anything will we increase that contingency fund in any way in the next few months?
It's possible that we can. I think it depends on how our revenues, how the COVID-19 is going to affect our overall revenue. I think it would be hard to say any amount for sure, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want to stay positive.
I think it's very safe to assume our sales tax revenue will go down dramatically.
Yes. Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
But we,
Thanks, Carrie.
as far as this year's budget goes, fellas, I believe we sit 2 months behind with our sales tax, with the state sales tax. So we probably won't see those decline in revenue until probably, I'm guessing, July or August, because we are 2 months behind. So that's just my guess.
So where it's really going to hit us is trying to budget for next year then.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I would like to interject though that we're being very careful with all the funds that we are spending for this COVID thing. As I've told everybody I've talked to, Caleb Dispenza has a very clear form that fills out for everything that we spend, on what it's going for and how to get reimbursed. So since the state's declared emergency and we have as well, there's a better than good chance we should get a lot of these funds back.
That's good.
That's true.
That's good.
Carry on, Carrie.
I believe, Mr.
believe you
Chairman, I believe, Carrie, we need a motion for the budget amendment, correct?
That's correct. Yes, please.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, I will move that we approve the budget amendment as recommended by our acting finance officer.
I will
Yep.
second that.
Okay, got a second? Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Carrie.
Aye.
Thank you, Chairman. The next thing I have for you, gentlemen, is March's financial report. We are 3/4 of the way through the year, so we are at 75% of the budget so far. The total of all the funds through the end of March shows that we have receive 78% of our revenues and 69% of our expenses at this time. So our expenses are down, our revenue is up for this time of year.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's safe to say our revenue is on par kind of with where it should be. We're just slightly over the percentage budget. Is that probably the better way to say that?
Say that again.
Our revenues,
Mitchell?
I guess I just wanted to clarify, our revenues are currently pacing slightly higher than where we are than what our percentage is year to date. But our overall revenue, is our overall revenue up compared to last year? Is that what you were saying?
Yes, sir. That is what I'm saying.
Okay, very good. I just thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry to confuse things.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, commissioners. Anything else we need from you, from finance, Carrie?
No, that's all for this time. Thank you so much for your time.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks, Carrie. Thank you.
Our next item is item 7, which is our county manager, Mark Pulliam. Mr. Pulliam?
I don't see him on my end.
Matt, you're muted.
Yep. Perfect.
Can y'all not hear me?
Yeah, you're live, Mark.
No, I can now.
Yeah.
I see Mark.
Am I
There you
good?
go. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I apologize to y'all, technical difficulty on this end. The medical services agreement that you have in front of you here is with the CRHI. It's a telemed agreement with the jail. Will save a substantial amount of resources, especially staff time from the public health nurses, from the health department. But it's overall a good deal, and we just need the approval to ratify this agreement, subject to some changes as to form.
Is the agreement with the health department in our county, or is it working with them, or how does that work, Mark?
I couldn't hear the question. You repeat.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, is the agreement that we're voting on with in working with our health department and our medical department there?
It's engaging an outside firm that will work with our health department. There's some collaboration between the health department and this outside company that will be providing this service. So they will be working with our health department staff, but at the end of the day, they'll be doing the majority of these telemedicine visits.
Where are they based out of, Mark?
They're out of Marshall, Marshall, 348 Medical Drive, Marshall. Huh?
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, that's.
I see. Okay.
I think they're in Spruce Pine.
That I was gonna say that's the jail's address.
I'm sorry, I gave the wrong address. Forgive me.
Mr. Brigman, they're located in Spruce Pine, but the person doing the actual services is Tanya Hensley, somebody you know here. She's the PA coming in and doing the actual telemed. You know Tanya?
Okay, here in the
Yes,
county.
sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Basically,
Jackson's
guys, we've talked about this in our Board of Health meeting. Essentially, this is a situation very much, it almost mimics the program that we have that we're using in the school system.
Yes.
Same company.
Yeah,
Yes.
same company, different division.
That is
Yes.
correct.
Okay.
And for
And
my
that
law
was
enforcement
actually-
people, so go ahead, man, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It would actually give credit where credit's due. Tammy reached out to these folks after dealing with them on the school thing and said, is there a way you can adapt your program that we can use in our jail? And if the projections carry out as we hope, it will save a tremendous amount of money.
And my law enforcement people on here, Mr. Brinkman, myself, and Mark, knowing there, when you have to put somebody who is in custody into a transport and take them somewhere, the liability and insurance is astronomical. Plus, this can be done inside the jail without ever moving the inmate.
And when we transport them, it takes, if I'm not mistaken, or correct me if I'm wrong, Craig, two deputies to make that process happen.
Yeah,
it does, absolutely. Yeah. And then they have to stay and wait on the procedure, and it causes overtime. This will pay off in the long run, man.
That's good.
Yeah, it'll especially save on visits to like urgent care and things like that.
Correct. Okay, could I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Mark?
Okay, the next item I have is tax refunds and releases. You have the information in your packets, and we need a motion to approve these.
Mr. Chairman, if there's no discussion, I will move that we approve them as recommended by our tax office and our manager.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, may we have a vote? All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, any negatives? Okay, hearing none. It's hard to tell, so I'll say it's all five of us. Okay.
Yeah.
Mark?
Okay. I have submitted to you a draft public records request policy. We will be bringing this to you at some point in juncture for your consideration for adoption of a policy. We get quite a few public records requests. We just want to have a policy in place so that when a records request is made, that it's documented, that it's made, and that it's honored, and that the information is provided in an expeditious way at the most cost-effective manner for the taxpayers and for the citizens. It is certainly something that you'll have to look at this, and we'll be looking at this as we move forward. But I think it'll articulate and spell out clearly what we expect. There'll be a form that you'll fill out, and that'll be on our website. It'll lay out who the custodian of the records is. For example, if it's a request for records from the sheriff or from the Register of Deeds, because they are constitutionally elected officers, then the request needs to go to their office, unless the record is held in another office for some reason or another. But those would not necessarily come to the county manager. For example, those would go to the elected official. And then the others, that the way we're envisioning this is that the clerk to the Board of Commissioners, is the custodian of most of the Board of Commissioners records. And so since the clerk is the custodian, we want to have those records addressed to the clerk, to the Board of Commissioners, and have the request spell out certain particular information so that we can get the information that the person is requesting specifically, without a whole lot of extra expense to the taxpayer or to the citizens. So there's a balance here, and you have the information in front of you. I won't belabor this tonight, but I just wanted you to be aware that in the future meeting, we will be asking you to adopt a policy related to public records requests, and fulfilling those needs. And I'll stand for any questions.
I don't have any questions.
Nor I.
I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I have an inmate labor contract that I need your approval to authorize us to enter into. This agreement provides for some inmate labor to help with the work around the county.
I assume this is a standard one we always do.
It is, it starts July 1st of this year and goes to June 30th of next year.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Gentlemen, do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you.
The last item that I have for the Board of Commissioners has to do with the Board of Equalization and Review. And as you know, this year we're doing revaluation of properties in the county. And because of that, we're in what you call the revaluation year. And in a revaluation year, the Board of Equalization and Review needs to have a meeting in a narrow window of time. It doesn't seem like a narrow window of time necessarily, but it's only a month that you have to convene your first meeting between the first Monday in April and the first Monday in May. And then you have until December the 1st to finish the review of all the appeals. Now, obviously, you'll probably finish those before then, but you have to have that first meeting between the first Monday in May and the first Monday in April and the first Monday in May. So we need to get a meeting slated of the Board of Commissioners, which is the Board of Equalization and Review in Madison County, to have our first meeting. So that will, I think you've been contacted about this, but we need to get a definite date scheduled to have our first meeting.
Okay.
So,
What is the date that was initially set for that?
Well, there wasn't a date set. Mandy sent out a request for us to all indicate what dates would work for us.
Yeah. Right.
And right now, just looking at the chart, it looks like April 20th would be the next closest date. And Norris and I are already signed up for that date.
Correct.
But we need
I'm good.
consensus for the others to get in on that date.
I'm good with that. April 20th.
I can be as well.
Me also.
All right. Looks like it's the 20th.
Do we need a motion
That's
for
good.
that, or can we just do we?
they all could. Yeah. So let me make sure I'm clear. Everybody says they can do April 20th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Time and place.
Okay.
How are we going to have this meeting? Or is this going to have to be a Zoom meeting as well? And how are the folks going to do their appeals? Have we thought through all that yet?
Yeah, that's a good question, Commissioner Wechtel. That part, I think we're going to have to work out some of the processes for people to be able to come and present the information or make their case to you. So that part I think we'll have to work out, but we certainly can and will. But I think this first meeting is a matter of legalities of getting it in, but we will work on myself and the tax collector as well as the tax assessor will be working on a process so that part will be laid out so that if we have to do it electronically, we can do it electronically too.
Would it be just food for thought? Would it be possible, if we did it in room 26 over there, that room is large enough that we could all spread out far enough, and if we wore masks and that sort of thing, I think we could do it live. Just, just food for thought.
Matt, that was my exact thought also. If we wore our masks and gloves and the people that came in saw that and we were 6 feet apart and there was less than 10 people in the room, I would be okay with that.
I'm agreeable to whatever the group agrees to. And I do think we will need to check the legal status since we have till the end of the calendar year. And what we're really doing is setting in motion the process, and the tax office and the legal folks can help us. We may not actually take any appeals on that first day, since that whole appeal schedule can be sent out, and people need to be assured that we will have as many public sessions and as much opportunity as everyone needs to have their appeals. I'm sure people thinking we're only going to have a meeting here Monday of next week, and there's no way that they can be ready or be prepared to appeal. That is only the first step in what will be a many months process. So I want to make sure everybody is aware that there will be plenty of opportunities for people to appeal.
And of course, the other thing is, it even makes more sense for them to appeal while the appraisers are still under contract. Is that right? And or has that window closed already?
I'm sure that the appraisers will be available to justify their position if that's what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did I read the notice incorrectly? There's an appeal process where they can appeal directly to the appraisers before it gets to the Board of E&R, correct?
That is correct. Yes, that is correct.
So those guys are still going to be with us long enough to make that happen, I assume, so we can put the general public at ease that they are going to have the opportunity to go through the full appeal process.
Yeah, actually, one of the things I'm going to be reviewing in just a few minutes is a formal recommendation that will be coming out to change and do some budget flexibilities and timelines for various mandated things from the state. So in the little presentation I'm going to do here in a few minutes, that's actually one of the items that's in there.
All right. And my last question about April 20th, do we want to set a time now, or do we want to let that be set at a later date?
I prefer a time now if we could, Matt.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Morning time better for everybody?
That would
any time works for me.
How about 9?
9 sounds great to me.
Yeah, I'll make
9 a.m. Is that?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
And I too would like for us, if at all possible, listening to both what Wayne and Matt said, if we can be there together and separate and have that conversation, that'd be real good, because this may be technology, but this is not my idea of having a meeting. This is difficult.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. That brings us to item number 8, Mr. Gentry.
Gentlemen, I mailed to you today instead of sending it electronically because there's a number of pages involved. And it's some of the most recent information from the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. And after you get this in a couple of days, we'll have a better discussion. But for the point of this evening, there are a number of priorities that my fellow board members and the director have put forth. And they include, just to hit the high points without details, priorities are obviously immediately improving access to personal protective equipment, economic development stimulus that would be enacted through our General Assembly in North Carolina to help particularly people in rural counties and small towns, cities, and villages. Economic stabilization for county budgets. I want everybody to particularly pay attention to that section, because whether it's Madison to Mecklenburg, and as Matt stated a little while ago, we are all looking at serious budget issues for next year. And we are the front line. We are not Washington, we're not Raleigh. And a lot of the essential services that people depend on every day in Madison County, or Mecklenburg, or Manteo, Cherokee to New Hanover, are provided by the local governments. And that's everything from law enforcement to EMS and the other essential services. And there's not a county in this state that is not going to take a financial hit. And we just need to make sure that our General Assembly knows we're here and knows that we need the help. There will also be a major push for last mile internet. That's also being promoted in Washington, and it seems to have good bipartisan support in Washington. And it's been discussed for years by the State Association of Commissioners, as well as by both political parties in Raleigh. And this may be an opportunity, if we have an infrastructure coming out, that there would be resources to promote and encourage last mile internet. And as we've all talked about that for years. And what we're going through now only further reinforces just how important that is. Flexibility with personnel laws, we've talked about that a little bit. Flexibility for budget and reappraisal timelines. And without getting off into that, would be allowing for budget flexibilities going past the normal cycle during the middle of the year. And as Mark had alluded to earlier about how we deal with our reappraisals and how we even deal with our tax rates and those things, and get that into legislation and get it through the General Assembly. And of course, the last are the things that local people want. So when you guys get a chance to look at this the next day or two, we'll have a chance to talk about it more. And it also includes, the last thing I want to mention tonight is an outreach. People who know people in Raleigh, across the political spectrum, from the members of the General Assembly to other elected officials in the state. We all need to emphasize, don't forget local government, because that is really where the rubber meets the road. And Raleigh will respond to the state's folks if they say, please make sure that whatever we do, we provide the best we can for those local services. So that's all I've got to say tonight on that subject. This stuff was mailed to you today. You should have it tomorrow or the next day. All right?
Okay. Thank you, Norris.
Thank you, Norris.
Thanks, Norris.
All right, gentlemen, that brings us to item number 9, which deals with Madison Asphalt litigation file number 19 CVS 340. And I am asking for a motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina law.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into closed session under General Statute 143-318-11 for the discussion of legal matters.
And I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Craig, this is Donnie.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'll need you to actually cite the under subsection A, you actually have to cite the name of the case and the file number.
All right. Mark, would you be good enough to read that for us?
Yeah.
You have that, or Donnie, if you have it?
I can read it.
It is, you would be going, if you would entertain a motion, an amendment to the motion to go into closed session pursuant to 143-318-11A3, and the name of the case is Madison Asphalt versus Madison County, 19 CVS 340.
Okay.
19 CVS 340?
Yes.
Yes. I add litigation file to it's what I did.
That,
rather than
that's
Madison County.
fine. You had it there. But yeah, it just do the motion to that because that statute requires that we have to put the case name in if we go into closed session pursuant to that section.
With that
Well, I'll be
information
happy-
being,
Yeah,
that
I'll be
information
happy
being
to
added by
amend my
our
own
county.
motion.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be happy to amend my own motion if everybody's good with it.
Yes, please.
143-318-11A3, Madison Asphalt versus Madison County, file number 19CVS340.
And
You got it. That's right.
Thank you, Donnie. Thank you.
Can we have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we have another process to go into for security purposes, right? We're going to go to another Zoom, correct?
Right. We'll go to another Zoom, and all those folks that are at this meeting just need to stay on because when we're finished with closed session, we will re-enter this meeting.
So mute your microphones on this meeting, gentlemen.
Mark. Hey, there we are.
Yeah, I had to call for some help. Now I'm dismissing her.
There we go, right? Labor Day.
Everybody's back in.
Yeah, Donnie's still connecting.
Oh, I see.
While Donnie is connecting, I want to make sure that.
I'm in now, Mark. I'm in, Craig. Can you hear me?
Okay, sir. Okay. Yes, I can, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Can I have a motion to go back into open session?
So move.
Second.
All
Hold
in
on,
favor?
guys. I was muted there. I didn't get to hear anything. What are we voting on?
To go back into open session.
Oh, okay. So okay. Yes.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay. We're now back in open session, and I have no further items. I would like to say, though, a point of privilege, that if anybody who's not in those meetings in the mornings at 9 o'clock, if you're not getting what you need from one of us, you let me know, because my responsibility is Matt Wechtel and Mark Snelson. Norris has Wayne, and that is the line. We're supposed to make sure y'all know what we know, and if you don't, you call me and we'll get it to you. That's only fair, because I may be a lost child out in the wilderness, but I'm trying to keep y'all up. We're all in this together. I am not trying to make any decisions that you folks are not firm with, period. One man, one vote. Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Now, that being said, do we have any further business? If not, may I have a motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Bye,
Be
y'all.
safe, everybody.
Bye.
Take care and be safe.
Take care.